this one on. Well, look here. He broke us down. The starter broke on us all the way out in no man's land. Well, let's see if we can't fix it and get back in the woods. Take its starter apart. The shear pin broke on the shaft, which engages the appendix. So it just sits there and whines. There. That's what happened. Broke the pin right out of the shaft. That's what they're designed for. Keeps from breaking everything. One little pin sheared right off. Cause you to break down completely. Then we gotta take everything else apart to get to it. They're not easy to find. You can't find them, well, you can, but they're hard to find in the right length. So the best thing to do is to buy a whole set, which they're about 1 inch too long, and you just cut them down to length. I had to have a rag to clean that stuff off. See, the pin goes right through there. You can see that through the hole. And they just line up on each other. How long do I can't remember the exact length I had it measured at. But one way is to, the whole diameter here, so that has to not be able to turn onto the shaft, but this still has to be able to turn around on that for the gears to engage and disengage. So right here's what we need to measure it by, is the width of that. So I'm going to cut that and I'll be right back. Alright, we got the pin cut. We may still have to file a little bit off when we get it in there, but let's start trying to put it back on. First, we've actually got to put the plate on, which attaches to the outer housing. Then we put the appendix on the shaft and line it up with the hoe. So the end has to be tapered, so I need to squeeze the end just a little bit so it'll get started. That's the difference between having one that's made for it and buying just a pack, is the ones made for it have a tapered end that aligns with the hoe automatically, and you don't have to bend it. So let's see, get it clamped on there, and let's see if it's on there now. Looks like it started. I'm gonna move right here to this bench I made. Bench slash seat slash whatever you want it to be. Alright. You gotta have some kind of punch to finish driving it in. Let's see where it's at. We're way too long, so it's already sticking out on this side to where this isn't going to move, and just about as much on the other side. So let me beat it back out so I can file some off of that end. I got it filed off on both sides to where now it'll bend and lock and won't just slide around now. So let's finish putting it together. First thing we have to do is clean out this housing just a little bit. This is what goes into your flywheel, the block, so that they meet the flywheel. See, it goes right in there, and that's what goes into your flywheel, which turns the motor over. Alright. Line those up, get the screws out. Hope Bigfoot don't come out and get us. Sure is pretty out nights like this.
Yep.
It's a shame you have to work on something trying to get out of the woods when it's so pretty.
See all the good in?
Yep. Sure it's tight. There's that. Let me close that up before I'll drop the double all out. Now we need to set the armature all back in this housing here, and you've got to be careful because of the armature shear, you know, the brushes. lay it down. That way I can squeeze that one in, that one, and use my other hand to get these other two. And then that way it'll slide in without messing them up. There we go, see. These are lined up. If you ain't careful, you can break those off or scuff them up, and then they won't hit evenly along all this copper winding, which gives the electrical current telling the motor to run. So you want to be careful. Now you got to align the housings on this notch. See the notch? Now there's a washer. What'd you do at the washer?
You had the washer.
There it is. It's dark, I can't see. Gotta make sure you put that washer on the back if it comes off. Now we put the back plate on, and the holes are right here. So there we go. So we can line up the long bolts. There's just enough room to go through all the windings. So you got to make sure you kind of try and put it in straight, because you don't want to nick the wires or the windings inside the starter. Start them with your hands so that you don't cross thread them. You don't want no more headaches than you already have. Just tighten it up. Make sure it's good and snug. Do the other one. Let's take these lights and go back up here in front and put the starter on. Look how nice the box is out here. Put it in the face. There's that one. What?
You stopped it when you took it.
What? Did you start it back?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I accidentally turned it off. But I'm lining the starter up to the housing now.
Where the big gear is. You start everything.
It's called the flywheel.
Yep.
Alright, that one's hand tight.
That's where it goes.
Let's see. Got it?
Yep.
Let me get the nut on this one. Alright, that one's hand tight. You get my wrench that I threw down on the ground. these are 3/4 inch bolts, nuts, sockets. So standard. When they're tight. There's that one. Now this one's a little harder to get to. You can only do a partial turn at a time. That's pretty tight. Alright, let's hook the starter switch up. This switch, or this wire, comes straight from the switch, starter switch. When you turn the starter switch, the key over, it sends voltage to the solenoid here, and it's got a contact in there. And it gives the ground here and the 24 or the 12 volts current, which opens up the coil, which allows the voltage to go into the starter, which turns this, and you let off the key, kills it, starter stops. So let me tighten down this one. If you don't hold it, the nut or the connector will turn with the nut, and you don't want it to turn too much. You could break it off. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'll put so this is the main hot wire coming from the battery. So when this is connected, it's running power to these wires to the other systems, you know, horns, lights, stuff like that. So the starter's not going to start anyway. You know, you could think, well, why ain't the starter starting? Well, that's because there's no power coming from here to inside, which lets voltage go inside until the two are connected. Where's my wrench? Here we are. Oh, it's right here. So let's put a little snugness on him. That's copper, so you definitely don't want to tighten it too tight. So right here, I've got it fixed to where when it's setting for a little while, I can unhook the battery, the power wires, so the battery don't go dead. And this way, when I'm working on it like this, which kind of happens often where it's an older Jeep, I can unhook the battery so easily that I'm not having to take bolts and twist and pull it off and scratch it up. And I can just put it on there, put the nut on there, twist it. It's tight, and it's done. It is on there. Let me put my wrench in my bag and my ratchet in the bag and all this right here. Let's go and see if it'll start. Then I'll put everything up if it does. got her. It's a running. What'd it take us? An hour total? Maybe 45 minutes? Yeah, look at that. It's old.
Yeah,
it's a
about
65.
45 minutes.
But I love this thing. We take it, it'll go where a Billy go to go. Alright, we'll talk to you later.